Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
All right.
All right.
This was your ball game. You wanted to.
Okay, so my YouTube channel. I'm Rhiannon. That's Brett.
Mm-hmm.
And we're one episode away from the end of Stranger Things, and I thought we should take a minute and posit what we think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I already know what's going to happen.
go then.
I already called a few things. No, I don't. I'm going to allow my lights to shine after yours.
Oh,
so that yours
okay.
may not dim.
So that mine may not dim. All right, well, ultimate resolution here. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Ultimate resolution in my mind, just because of the things I liked to watch when I was, the age of the boys and when I started watching Stephen King and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate resolution would be the alternate universe is in Eleven's mind. She was forced to do so many things and so many horrible things that she no, don't interrupt me.
Now, we've already talked about it. Just quick
no.
clarification. This isn't necessarily what you think is going to happen. This is what you think would be the...
This is what my ultimate resolution would be.
This is what you would like to see.
This is what I think is going to happen because it's what I want to happen so bad.
That's not a good reason.
I'm being 11. I'm going to make this happen with my mind. No, ultimate resolution would be the alternate universe is in her mind. She was so abused at the hands of the lab that she somehow cracked in half and created a whole new world inside of her head and split that gate wide open.
And let some sort of monster out of it.
Let the monster that her fear created out of it.
Out of her own head.
Yeah. So that's my ultimate resolution. What I think is going to happen: actual alternate universe, actual monster.
Mm-hmm. Well, that one I thought was already pretty clear. That's not anyway what my positive was. My initial positing that led to you wanted to see if we could guess correctly.
Yeah.
Was that I posited that the creature was not part of their experiments, because early on in the show you don't know if the creature is the part of their experiments and she's involved in that or what. But of course, then it proves later on, because we haven't watched the last episode, but all of his episodes before we have.
Yes.
Turns out that they were just in the experiments with creating a telepathic person. They succeeded. Her telepathic abilities to listen on the other side of the world seem to depend on being able to cross through whatever this upside down is, and and also it seems like rely on both her abilities and the upside down has some sort of interplay with EM.
Yeah.
Like, people can talk to each other when it leaves like electrical pulses, like it makes the lights mess up and stuff. Even the people without powers like hers, like the kid, Will, when he tries to talk with mom, it affects lights. So there's some sort of transmission across this alternate universe, which implies alternate universe to me, and then her transmissions bumped into one of these creatures or got its attention at one point, and then it cracked open the world. Now, my weird, crazy positing, my extreme positing is that the creature, the monster, is just a small being of largely unimportant significance, only important because it snatches things for prey, or for some reason, because it didn't kill the kid, maybe because he got away, maybe because it doesn't always kill, don't know. But my big posit is that all the tendril stuff is the real problem. The tendril stuff and the stuff that goes through the world creates those portals is some other kind of organism. Like, basically there's some giant organism that turns all those trees into the spore-filled whatever, some sort of like mold that grows through worlds and consumes it all, and then this creature is just a predator that lives on it. It is literally a flea that is living on the back amongst the hairs of these larger nameless Cthulhu beast thing that punches through worlds and has punched through that one and now to this one.
Maybe be a little honest.
I put that one at about less than 50%.
Okay, I'm going to be a little honest. Your first one, you didn't articulate quite that well the first time. I kind of like that, actually. We'll go with that's what I feel the probable is.
All right.
So let's see. Important questions. Favorite character in 7 episodes?
There's a lot of characters that I like. I think the Dustin kid, the guy with the tooth problem, is probably the one most destined for comedy. He will probably do well for himself with his early start. And I like the sheriff simply because there's too many movies where it takes a while for everybody to believe everything, and then he, of course, like most characters, he doesn't believe oh, you crazy lady, your kid is dead. But then as soon as something weird starts to happen, he just literally goes off to investigate it, punching out government agents. You know, like, surprisingly effective. This sloppy drunk cop is surprisingly effective at punching out government agents. And then he finds, you know, some weird tentacle portal, and then all of a sudden he's just like, shut up and tell me what happened. They move things with the mind. He's like, right, good. Move things with the mind. He's like, you know, listening devices in the walls. They took your kid and turned him into a telepath guy. You know, like once that first seal is, you know, because there's always those shows where somebody's like, aliens aren't real. Then they find an alien, and then they're like, and so it's about psychic powers. They're like, psychic powers. Like, look, the first seal was already broken. Aliens are already real. Just roll with the rest of it. You know, it's not like we found an alternate universe and you're like, crazy. And they're like, and they ride dinosaurs. Like, dinosaurs? Impossible. It's like, they just found an alternate universe. It's already...
So, those are your favorite characters. Mine, I would have to say, I really think Lucas is awesome. Like, he's just so practical. He's just, all right, who's the weirdo? We don't trust the weirdo. Okay, she's so awesome, we have to trust her. Like, you know, like it took some convincing, but then he did see that she was on their side, and you know, like, I just like the pragmatism. She's not doing things with her mind. Oh, well, you know, I've seen enough. She is doing things. Like, I almost like what you just said. Like, he has to be convinced of every step, and I almost like that. I wouldn't like that if I were a part of it. Yeah, if I were a part of it. But I like watching it because I just like that there's somebody who's kind of just being dragged along.
Well, not necessarily being dragged. I mean, they're being reluctant because they're afraid of how it's the trustworthiness.
Yeah.
Because they're more concerned about the safety of the group, and so then now the outsider is a potential problem. So
yeah.
It's just because the others, you know, like the one guy, what's his name? The main, the kid that's into her.
Mike, right?
Yeah. Mike, of course, is into her, so he just jumps right into it. Other guys go. Dustin just goes along, sticks with his buddies. So Lucas has to play the voice of reason.
Yeah, but I like that. I mean, like, they do it well. He's not like stubborn.
Yeah, he's not
you know, I mean, he doesn't take his stuff and go home until he's literally been pounded into a piece of junk metal, and then you know, he still comes back when he realizes that they were right. So he's my favorite, seconded only to 11 wasn't going to jump in the top 3, to be perfectly honest, until she went and stole the Eggos. Well, but she went and stole the Eggos and you know, then ate them hand over fist, and that kind of sold it for me.
That appeal to this right here.
It did. That being my empty stomach, not anything weird.
I guess we do have to clarify.
Yeah.
The internets. Oh,
MK Ultra, thing or not?
Thanks for their stomach.
I do. MK Ultra, thing or not?
No, in terms of real life?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they did something that inspired the myth, depending on how close it was to the real thing or not.
I buy into it. Entirely.
Well, I mean, I would say, like, I have no doubt that the government at some point did experiment with the effects of drugs. What their aim was in them. I also think it is very possible that some guy who convince somebody somewhere. I mean, how many stupid projects is the Pentagon wasted its money on? Oh, we can make a rocket that does X and then it never materializes. I guarantee you somebody convinced somebody to spend money on a device or a program that would give you super soldiers, you know, even though that may seem like comic book. I guarantee you that and one of those programs at some point was a bunch of money down a toilet to create mind control people.
See,
I don't doubt that it did happen. I don't know if it was ever called MK Ultra. I don't know if it was ever.
It so was.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been. But
people,
my point,
I mean, they gave people.
My point is that
they jumped out of.
My point is just in general with the conspiracy theory thing. Sometimes people automatically just dismiss anything because it's conspiracy. Other people automatically believe everything because it's conspiracy. Like, oh, you know, the government's up to that. I'm more in the long lines of, I'm sure stuff that we never get told about happens all the time, and so there's probably some piece of truth in that myth. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And just because the government probably never actually, you know, just because the government didn't create a mind control person doesn't mean there wasn't someone stupid enough to be, or gullible enough to be tricked into supporting that program and get government money. Because, like, who is going to stop them? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to tell you, no, you can't do that? It's some black watch part of the government, which you know that exists. You know stuff that's under state secrets, so not even Congress can really have oversight about how they're spending the money.
Yeah.
It does exist. So
well, that's all we need to know before we watch last episode. So,
all right. Well,
last episode.
One other theory, though. Who do you think will die?
Who do I think
will
die? Who do I think will die? Well, Steve hasn't joined them yet, but that would be my hope. He's really just not going to rehab himself for me. Who do I think will die?
He doesn't bug me that much.
It's not that he bugs me. It's
I
just
get that he's supposed to be the asshole jock or whatever, the popular
I don't
kid.
even necessarily find him an asshole jock.
He's not
he's so
jock,
smug.
Really, yeah, well, he's supposed to be the popular jerk. And he's definitely plays that sometimes, but then he also does stuff that's, a little more better written, where they don't write a one-dimensional, I was in love with the jerk, now I'm in love with the loser who's got a heart of gold. Because guess who the writer is? He was one of those losers who wants to prove he has a heart of gold.
Well, but see, he also hasn't just been the lovable loser. Jonathan hasn't. He's also, he was
he's also
the one that
voyeurs.
Yeah, so they've
literally
rounded all the characters out. But
his
who
big
do I really
asshole
think
dumb was that he tore up the guy's pictures. Now, maybe he shouldn't have broken his camera, but he had every right to tear up pictures that were taken without their consent of,
No, that's just not why he bugs me. I think he just bugs me because he reminds me of I think it bugs me because I don't want to hate him. No, I think it bugs me because I don't want to hate him. But I would not be friends with him in real life. He would just be the dude that'd be like, oh yeah, Steve, I know him. No, we do not hang out. Does he remind you
of an attractive man that sometimes frustrates you?
He does have really good hair.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, who do I think is going to die?
Loving, despite his roguish.
Who do I think is going to die? Nobody's going to watch this for 11 and a half minutes. They're not even going to see this part. Honestly, Lucas, because of the same reasons I said. He was so doubting to begin with. If somebody's got to die, I think he'll make some last push to get Will in the end.
I can see
push him through the hole. And
I can see it.
For the same reasons that I love him, I think he's kind of doomed.
But I can also see them maybe going somewhere with what's his name? Steve?
No, Steve's the jerk.
Oh, yeah, the other kid. Will's older brother.
Jonathan.
I can see either Jonathan, or I can see his mom maybe to add some, or maybe even the sheriff sacrificing himself or something to add some drama to it. But maybe not. I don't know.
All right, well.
Of course, they can always kill the comedy relief. They can kill the black kid with comedy relief. Those are some old tropes.
Oh, like I said.
Maybe they'll try to circumvent them.
Maybe. And like I said, I only think Lucas is going to die because I love him. All right, let's watch the episode, see what happens.